Luke, big weekend ahead for you. 100 Premiership appearances. I've been looking back. March 2014, Northampton Saints. That was your first Premiership appearance coming off the bench. That seems an age ago now, doesn't it?
It does, mate, yeah. It was a long time obviously coming. Obviously, I built my way up for academy stuff, and to get my first game was big. Really enjoyed it, and it's gone pretty well since then.
3 games later, though, you were making your debut in the Premiership in terms of a first start against London Irish. Again, it showed that you had a class at that age, and since then you've been very pivotal in the rise of this club. It must have been a great journey for you.
It has been good, to play with guys for this long. I've been at the club now nearly 10 years, I think. To play with the same guys for that long, and the academy guys who come through, like Nosey, Slady, them boys. It has been enjoyable. It's been really good. I think we've come through the journey together, and I think it's made it a bit more special. And like you said, the club's going places, and we've got a few bit of silverware under us already. So hopefully we can get some more.
I talked to you, Slady, Knowlesy, Dave. You've had highs, you've had lows. The last season must be right up there in terms of what it was for you. You achieved so much as a group and as individuals.
Yeah, it was brilliant. We knew we had it in us. I think we're hot quite a few games, and then we do have that drop off. And I think previous seasons you've seen that. And I think last season, we had some dips in games where we got a bit under pressure, but I think we've grown as a side and we came over that. And I think last year, definitely shows what side we are, and we won both, which was massive for us. We spoke quite a few years on a trot about trying to bring our game onto European games, and last year we did that really well. And I think we're going to try and improve on that. And as a side, we're just going to grow. We're still quite young.
I was lucky enough to be here seeing you guys train and that, but the way you were talking like winners. The hurt from the previous year, that Saracens final, was driving you. COVID, being away from each other, was driving you. And you all came back that first game against Leicester, desperate to do something, didn't you? And
yeah, I don't know. There was definitely a switch. There was a switch in how boys are acting. And I just think we, instead of just sitting back and saying, COVID is a good excuse not to be playing well, I think boys took it, and we had quite a bit of sort of COVID pre-season type thing, and boys proper hammered into that, and it showed when we come back. We were all fit, and we're switched on to what we needed to do, and boys fit back straight into our game plan, and it came out well. And I think it showed throughout the whole season.
All of us are getting older. We're all growing more mature in that with age, but for your group, as I call it, this little golden group, you've become dads. You're all growing older together, like all of us, but it's adding something to you. You're seeing a growing maturity both on and off the field, do you feel?
Definitely, yeah. It's definitely matured me a little bit. Obviously, obviously in club I'm still a kid, but outside of club, obviously I've got duties. Now I think it's good. It seems weird because I still feel really young. As in, in my head I'm still, 20 years old with the boys playing rugby. But I'm not. I'm 28. I've got a kid. I'm a grown man, so it is nice. It is nice, but it definitely does. You come into work and you're training and everything's well, and then you go home and it definitely your mindset completely changed. I've got a little baby at home to look after, and I think it has matured me as a person. I think it's calmed me down a little bit, which is nice, and I think it's only helped my rugby. So
this weekend we move on to matters on the field with Wasps. Just a reflection on last weekend. Real disappointment with Leinster, but now you've got to focus. Let's reclaim the Prem.
Yeah, it was. It was disappointing. We thought we did well, but like I said, Monday we've sort of had a review of it, and we've parked it really. We're back on the Prem now, and Prem's a big important focus for us. We've been doing well in the Prem for years now, and I think the quicker we got that game done and dusted, the better, and we can concentrate on Wasps. Wasps is a massive game. It's a big rival for us. We played in the final last year, and it's going to be a heck of a game. So we're excited. So we're just excited to play it.
The business end of the season, I think the media referred to it as a moment. You've got some big games coming up, but do you take a lot from your own form in the Six Nations, where you said you made your first start? So that's improvement in itself, but you seem to really find your next gear in terms of international rugby, and it's a case of building on that, because what lies down the road could be huge.
Yeah, I think things have been going well. It's quite tough because you can have a few good games and you can have one-off game, and you get people honing you. It's like they forget about weeks in previous. So for me, I just try and concentrate on what I'm doing week in, week out, trying to improve. And I don't choose to play bad on the weekend. Some things might just not go your way. But for me, I try and focus on what I can control, and it seems to be going all right.
Do you kind of switch off to those armchair critics? Because the hooker quite often gets the blame if a line-out doesn't go right. But there's so many different dimensions to it. Do you just go, well, that's that?
Yeah, normally I do. There's always reasons for line-outs going wrong. It's obviously not just the throw, but majority of the time it is. Boys have niggles, boys have shoulder injuries, and sometimes it changes the way you need to do things. But yeah, I actually sometimes like reading them and listening to them, because it sort of makes me laugh a bit, like it gets me going. Some boys don't like that, but I do. So, it's up to them what they want to write. But yeah.
And away from the game, as you say, you're a dad now, but your gaming's still very important to you. And you did the big foundation drive during lockdown, which raised a lot of money. Is it still as much fun as ever, logging on every night and giving your mates a bit of abuse down there?
Yeah, it's not every night, but it's as much as I can, as much as the missus and the baby lets me. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's strange. People might find it weird, but there's people obviously who watch me or I speak to when I stream all the time, and I've never met them, but I know them to a certain extent. So people find that weird, but I enjoy it. They enjoy it. I've got a little group now, and I'm just playing my game whilst having a chat with the boys, and it's really enjoyable.
Final one from me. As we say, business end, huge end of the season. What can this team achieve? Can we go Premiership again?
I can see it. I think last week obviously gave us a kick in the teeth, and boys are hungry for it now. And it's the Prem. We've known how to perform in the Prem for years. But I think we just got to get the right attitude back, and go at teams. So I'm excited to see what we bring this week and future.